Hey, I'm Carrie,
I'm Lindsay.
and welcome to Beautiful Chaos.
Our goal with this channel is basically to keep it as real as possible. As you can see, Carrie and I are basically just fresh out of the shower, not together, separately. But we're in our sweatshirts and our leggings, and that's just how we are as moms, right? Like that's reality. As much as we'd love to be dolled up all the time, it's not reality. So that is basically what we want out of this channel, right? We basically want to be as real as possible with you guys. We're going to be sharing some pretty, serious stuff. We're also going to try and keep it light, and that's, I think, where we came up with the idea of beautiful chaos, is the fact that even if we go through crazy stuff in life, there's always going to be some sort of humor that you can find in it, some sort of beauty in it. And I think both of us have found that, that's kind of what keeps you going, right? Because if you can't find that, then it's very hard to get through those hard times.
Absolutely. And it's going to be as real as we can get. I can't promise that we're not going to cry. I'm sure two of us are going to be here bawling our eyes out.
Yep.
But we want basically to let our viewers know that you're not alone, that, and we're not alone. Sometimes we feel, we know that this, everybody's going through their own thing, and sometimes you feel very alone, but you really aren't. There's, and you don't necessarily have to go to professionals for help. You are your own professional in your own life, as far as I'm concerned, because you are the only one who knows how to manage day to day as best as you can. So yeah, that's basically where we're at with this.
Like I think when you were saying that we feel alone, like we could have so many people around us. You could have someone in your home and you still feel so alone, right? And what you're going through, because it's a personal journey. And I think that's where Carrie and I talk a lot about, is our personal journeys, right? Like where we are, and even though we are the same age, we're in different journeys of our life, right? And sometimes we are in the same journeys of our life, like parenting, but it differs. Like mine are a little bit older, hers are a bit younger, and it's just, there's so many similarities and differences. And I think when you start talking about those, it just makes people feel better, you know? And especially when you're going through really, really hard times. Like just having that person to be able to just talk to, even if they don't have the answers, it's just letting it out and saying, hey, this is what I'm going through. And Carrie and I do that all the time. And we laugh about it often. We'll find something that just makes us laugh. And I'm sure you've had a moment where like you're crying and then all of a sudden you burst into laughter because you're just like, how chaotic. It gets so chaotic that it's still funny because it's that chaotic. And both Carrie and I have had people say, you should write a book. And maybe we'll still end up doing that. You know what I mean?
You never know.
Because we have gone through so much, and still you have to keep going, right? And I think as moms, we feel like we have to keep going, right? Like no matter what happens in life, you still have to keep going. You've got little ones dependent on you. So yeah, and Karen and I have gone back far, so I'll let you talk about that.
Well, so that's basically why I wanted to start this with you, is because we've gone back. We've known each other since we were 5.
Literally
since we were 5.
Kindergarten.
And we were friends through school. We graduated. Our journey took us through school. We graduated, and then we went on separate paths. And then our paths joined again. I don't know how many years ago now, but
oh gosh, so the kids were probably 3 or 4, and they're
3.
Now. It's
so
probably 4 or 5 years ago we rejoined again.
And I didn't know. I sent my now oldest child to nursery school. I didn't want to. I wanted to keep her home with me, but I figured no, she needs to go. And then next thing I know, I see Lindsay walking through the door with her son, and I was like, oh my God, somebody I know, because I'm not that mother who sits off with the other mothers.
I've got to agree. I'm definitely the same. I don't socialize well, especially with other moms. I try to, and other moms try to as well, but I think so. It's just a bit awkward sometimes. So that was good to have someone, and it was Carrie's first time sending a child to preschool, and it was my 3rd time, so it was kind of like, you know,
help.
Yeah, it was help. But even and it's funny because even though he was my third, it was my baby. So I'm just like, it was almost like I was setting my first foot again. I'm like, it's okay. But so
no, and I, you know, the reason why I wanted to start this, and it's because I was, you know, obviously we're going to get to that later on in more episodes, I'm sure. But I was just sitting here on this couch where we are, and I was just having a moment, and I'm looking at the TV, and I was like, these people are talking about stupidness. Like, you know, like, it's like, really, I just want to talk, and I want to, you know, let others. I'm going to get personal. We're going to get personal. We're going to open up about our lives.
For sure, yeah.
And I'm sure people aren't going to be comfortable with that. But I want other people to be welcomed into our journey with this. And I was trying to figure out who I could do this with. I could have done this with a number of people. And there was a voice, this weird voice in my head that went, Linny.
Yeah.
It was Linny.
And it's so funny that you say Linny because like very few. It's funny because I have like a Linny and I have like a Linz.
Yeah.
Because it's like very few people know me as Linny, and it's like so cool that you know me as Linny because it's very personal for me.
Yeah.
Like very few people know that part of me. Right. So I love that fact. And Carrie had literally come to me at the same time that I was having I want to do something more. What is my purpose in life?
Right.
I want to get out there and talk to people, but how do I do it? And then Carrie was like, do you know what? This was just in sync and it was perfect. And it was so funny because on the way here, I was like, this is definitely meant to be, and this is going to be fabulous for us because do you remember in your mom's basement area, in the play area, den area, you and another friend, we're not going to mention his names quite yet because we have to be careful of that, but you, another friend of ours, and me were in there listening to Buju Banton.
Oh, absolutely.
So Buju Banton was no word of a lie, playing on the radio on the way here, Walk Like a Champion.
Oh.
And I was just like, okay, that's it. I'm sold. This is meant to be. Like, I'm a big believer in like energy and manifesting and all that kind of stuff. And when I heard that, I'm like, okay, I'm on the right path. So
the amount of dancing that we used to do down in that room.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, I used to blast that, open up the windows and let the whole neighborhood hear us playing. But yeah, we go back to school days, kindergarten. I don't really...
May or may not be over 30 years, but you know.
Oh, no.
We won't date ourselves
No. It was just yesterday. Are you kidding? But yeah, no. And I felt that because, you know how when someone comes into your life, you just feel like I felt like you never left my life. Even though we went on different journeys and there's parts of your life that I don't know about, parts of mine, vice versa. But it just felt like we never left each other's lives.
Yeah, like you could literally pick up where you left.
Yeah. And when I was just happening, I was talking to you one day down at the school and I was talking about my anxiety issues and stuff, and you were the same. I was like, someone I can relate to because there's people who they say they have anxiety, but I don't think they understand the real meaning and feelings and everything. Because I used to say it all the time, I'm anxious, but not to the degree that I'm suffering with it now.
Because it's different for everybody.
Exactly.
Right? Like, and there's also levels to it, right? Like there's where you're feeling a little, oh my gosh, overwhelmed. But then there's the like crippling, I think I need to go to the hospital. Something is seriously wrong with me. And in actual fact, it's your body just saying, help me. I'm not feeling okay. You know? So
and that was comforting. Not that, I'm comforted by anybody who wants to listen to me. But this seemed to be the right choice.
I totally agree.
My sidekick in this. And, like you said, we can find comic relief. I'm big on making fun of myself, laughing at myself. I don't care if you want to laugh at me, as long as I make you bring joy to someone's life, whatever, but I think it'll be a good well-rounded mixture of good, bad, ugly, pretty, And
I love the fact that like as soon as we started talking about it, we started running with it.
Yes.
Like we're like, we could do this, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this. And like Carrie has a list of like ideas and we want to have people on eventually. And we definitely are going to talk about lots of like reality stuff, but we also plan on doing games and fun stuff. And we just want everyone to have a lot of fun with it. You know what I mean? And I'm excited to see where this new adventure takes us. I'm excited.
I am too. In fact, I was like dreaming about it, like envisioning this actual episode happening.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I hate saying my name. Oh, I was gonna get you to do it, in all honesty. But you know, you gotta roll with it, and like and like you said, we're just gonna see how this pans out. We hope that we make, not necessarily just mothers. It's for everybody. I want to reach out to everybody
for sure.
But want to make people feel happy and feel okay with themselves. It's a constant battle with us. Due to some traumatic experiences, it's a daily process for me. And, there are days that, like the other day when I was trying to figure out what my purpose was, I sat on the couch for 2 days. I let my kids run rampant. I did feed them. I did. I don't want anybody to think that I didn't take care of them, but, I think my daughter ate half a box of goldfish, like the case, because she came to me and said, Mommy, we don't have any more goldfish. And I'm like, there was a box.
Yeah. And I think we're also trying to take away the stigma of bad parenting, right? Like so many people are like, you're a bad parent or you're a bad woman if you can't do this or you do this a certain way, you do that a certain way. And it's like, it's so unfair. There are so many people are struggling with so many things internally that you have no idea about.
Yes.
And for someone else that has no knowledge of who you are, or even someone who thinks they know who you are, but are not constantly in your life, commenting on something they briefly see.
Yes.
That bothers me because I'm just like, you have no clue what someone's going on to, and I think we all fall into, so-and-so, you can have a judgment about a person or you can have an opinion about somebody, but then you have to kind of stop yourself and be like, hey, do I really know what's going on with them? Maybe they had a completely garbage day. Maybe they're, so everyone, we're not saying that we don't have opinions and we don't judge people, but it's just, we're trying to take the stigma away from the whole being so judgmental about people when we're going through so much. And I think with the pandemic, I think people are a bit more sensitive to it now because so many people went through stuff that they didn't think they were going to go through, right? Yeah. Like financial hardships, just being stuck in the house forever.
I know.
With children who you love, but you're like, okay, when's school opening? You know what I mean? So we're going to talk about stuff like that. And
yeah, you're lucky. I have my kids home with me.
Well, I was like, well, see, this is the thing, right? You didn't get that.
I wouldn't get that either way.
Like, when I sent my kids, I'm like, love you, but off you go. Yeah. And I went to work and I sat there, I'm like, oh my gosh, do you hear that? I hear nothing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's nothing. And it's just, but that's real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nothing is perfect. And I think we also need to get away from that perfection.
Oh.
Right? Like, there is no such thing as perfection. And I have this saying with my kids, I'm like, as long as it's not illegal and you're not hurting anybody, I really don't see the harm in it, Obviously, there's moral things. That's a whole different thing. But I'm like, if you're really not hurting anybody, it's not illegal. What is the, that kind of thing? That's kind of my mentality with them. But it's just, it'd be great I cannot wait to have guests on and to dive into different topics. And I don't know if you want to go ahead and grab your list there and we'll kind of the different topics.
Yep, we are definitely going to be touching on anxiety, which we, obviously you can kind of get the gist with what we've already discussed. Depression, grief, mental illness, marriage, divorce, children, chaotic lives, definitely. Money issues, schooling, kids with differences, trauma. It all obviously intertwines
with each other, doesn't it?
But there are definite separate entities to these topics. Good one. Pregnancy. What people didn't tell us.
Yes, and I actually read the book.
Oh, really?
The whole what to expect when you're expecting.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah, that didn't.
No,
that didn't prepare me. I always tell my children parenting is, and I've heard this, that it's a contact sport, and it really is. Yeah. Like, you can read a lot of books, but when the kids come,
Yeah, no.
It's definitely different.
And you had your experiences. I had my experience.
Mm-hmm. We'll definitely talk about those.
Pregnancy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just being pregnant, miscarriages, anything that we've suffered along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is the difference from when we were kids growing up.
That's a big one.
To today.
That's a big one. And I think that'd be great to have our moms on for that one.
Yes.
And I was actually thinking about this too, because like I always viewed your mom as like the cool mom. Like she seems so chill. Like I don't know if that's
she's
right, like
hippie.
Her
she's like whatever.
I used to that's exactly the demeanor of her. But my mom is quite on the other side. She's quite stern, so it was like it'd be very interesting. And it's like sometimes she looks at my kids and she's just like, what? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but this is just what they like. I'm like, maybe it's the chemicals in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
it definitely
definitely different. Like especially with social media.
Yep. Oh wow.
Access to phones and televisions and just stuff that we like. I
don't know if they're gonna remember, but I want to like things that are happening now with us. I'm like, I don't, unless they shielded us. I don't remember being exposed to catastrophes. Not
no, I know what you mean.
Traumatic experiences.
No, and I think a lot of it is also social media, right? Like it's constantly in your face and. Yeah, I think as you're older, you kind of pay attention to things more. Like I didn't really pay attention to deaths when I was younger.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, there's people dying everywhere. I'm like, when does it stop? Like they're everywhere. And it's like, it's people it's like, and of course we're at the age now where sadly our parents or our friends' parents and there's and it's like when you're younger, I think you're just kind of naive. It's just like you kind of go around thinking the world is my oyster and I am invincible. The begin and end all and you get older and you're like, oh no, that's not right.
No. And how the heck are we already the age that we're at? Like this is
and we're just I think multiple times we've told each other, can we go back?
Oh yeah.
But with the knowledge we have now though.
Yes, absolutely.
I would want to go back with the knowledge I have
absolutely.
now.
So that's just basically some of the topics. Like, we want to have some guests on. Obviously, we're not sure about those yet, but I think right now we should just focus on us. I really feel if nothing else, nothing happens with viewers or anything like that, I think this is therapy for you and I.
For sure,
a cathartic experience.
For sure.
You're currently in therapy. I am in limbo. I don't I need to find,
and it's not for everybody.
No.
I do feel like I had to find the right therapist for me. Like I have gone to a couple and I just didn't vibe well with them. And I'm with a therapist now who I vibe really well. I feel like she really gets me. She guides me well, those kinds of things. Sometimes it just takes getting to know someone that you can really get on with.
I think with me, it's not, I don't know, it happens with everybody with me. I tend to become more friends, like and I love my therapist. She's just got a heavy caseload with other and I just need to find somebody else. But with her, we had kids the same age. It was and the same like we kept, every time I would say something, she's like, oh my gosh, and I'm like,
could relate.
She could relate big time, and I loved her for that. And I don't want to stop going to her, but I also am respecting if she's busy and stuff.
And they are so busy.
Yeah.
Like since the pandemic, and I think it's worldwide. I think depression and anxiety has just tripled.
Oh, absolutely. Right? When we were young, obviously it always existed, but it wasn't spoken about.
No, it wasn't. I know, and I think, and I remember like hearing about other people, but they got quote unquote locked up in a home, in a hospital.
Yes.
No one really said, hey, that person is ill. Like it's not, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that they're having illness.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think it was very taboo back then. And it
Sorry.
no, it's fine. And I think like somewhat, I think everyone's trying to get rid of that stigma behind mental illness.
Yeah,
and just talking about it more because it's real.
Yes, it's real, and it could save lives by talking about it. I feel for the most part, I feel it could really be beneficial to a person who's really struggling. Because you just don't. I don't know. I just feel back then with everything, you just push it under the rug. So now's the time we gotta.
I also felt like, I don't know if you feel the same way, but I also felt like life back then, and I know part of it was our age, but it just seemed a little bit more simpler. I know there was like, we weren't really, I don't know about you, but I wasn't really worried about bills, right? Like rent and cars and stuff like I knew existed, but I wasn't really in like the mix of it, like, because my family was like, you don't talk about money, right? Like you don't find out how much your parents earn, you don't know about how much bills cost, you just know that the parents have got it, and that's that. And like, but I just feel like things were simpler, and I think, I'm a huge thing, like I really think social media is a blessing and a curse.
Yes.
I absolutely love it for certain reasons, like especially with certain social medias, you can reach people who you don't see all the time, right? You can call them, you can video chat them, like I love that aspect of it, but I don't love the aspect of like all that negativity in your face constantly, or just that, and it's also not even just negativity, it's sometimes I feel like I'm swiping and then I get overwhelmed because I'm seeing ads upon ads or different people's lives, and maybe it's overstimulated. That's what it is. Overstimulation.
I had to stop going on it for a bit because I was tired of seeing it's either this celebrity died, this person died, like you said, or it's if you believe God's got you, say amen. It's either either death or it's about God, and I'm just like, do we have anything happy going on? Like, on my feed anyway. I was like, this is insane. So and
I love the funny videos. They're great. They're like keeping on, but then you also get the other videos, right? Like sometimes I look and I'm like, this person has so many hundreds and millions of followers and they are doing the stupidest thing. I'm like, you're endangering your life literally for views, and I don't understand.
No.
I'm just like, and my kids, of course, the kids are like, haha, that's so funny, and I'm like, as a parent, I'm like, that's so dangerous. And they're like, no, you're fine. I'm like, so
I know. Yesterday at my kids, they go to this, I call it acrobatics class. I think it's JAG class that they call it, and just seeing the kids like do their forward flips, and I'm like, I can't, I have to like walk out because it's just like, oh my God. And even around here, I'm like, I feel like putting my kids in bubble wrap, because if they fall, I'm like, oh my gosh, but meanwhile, the craziness that we,
I know.
I mean, there's a hill down here, that big hill that goes up back there. My friends would go up with our paddle bikes, go up the top and come flying off, and
traffic could have been coming, and no one,
crazy stuff that we did. Well, that's not really crazy, but still, now I'm like, no, you're not getting on a bike. No, I'm sorry.
It's totally different.
You're gonna stay on a tricycle for the rest of your life. But it is. It was much more simple back then. I even felt when we graduated, it was still, it wasn't, I mean, heading into adulthood, it was a new chapter of our lives and everything, but I just didn't feel this constant negative cloud, this constant cloud, like.
I definitely feel like I am trying to enjoy adulthood, but I just feel like I can't really enjoy adulthood. And I think that's where anxiety comes from too, right? Like if you have anxiety and you're not getting to the bottom of that, that can be a constant cloud, right? And it's always the worry of the finances, the children, where you're going in life, and then you stop and you're going, okay, what about me? Like, what am I doing with my life? Like I can take care of everybody else and do everything else, but now what? So it's like there's a lot. Yeah,
there is, and I think it's gonna be good for us. And hey, if you
I'm sure
if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry. So I'd rather laugh,
basically.
So it's I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys will be able to relate to us on some level, because we literally are going to try and touch on as much adult topics as possible.
Yes.
So,
and please No negativity, please. Like, we're just, this is real.
I was gonna say, we debated whether or not we were gonna get dressed up, whether we're gonna put makeup on, and I'm still jet lagged. We're both like, you know what? Like, it's real life. This is motherhood, you know, and a lot of times it's not pretty.
Especially around here.
So it just, we will be dolled up sometimes, we won't be dolled up sometimes, we'll be smiling sometimes, we won't be smiling, you know, like, we literally are just trying to keep it as authentic as possible because that's just life.
Cannot promise it'll be quiet.
Yeah.
I cannot promise a cat won't come flying across our laps. And
maybe some cats, some kids will make their appearances. But
you know what we should do? We should do a baking one day with the kids and show
just how much fun. Yeah, because do you do
that?
Well, so I love, okay, so I have a little bit, I'm not OCD, but I don't have a lot of patience. Well, I do and I don't, because my husband tells me all the time, you have so much patience, I don't know how you do it. But I'm like, when it comes to like baking and activities and stuff, I'm like, I think I've lost all my patience.
Me too.
Because baking brownies should not take 2 hours and like everything all over the place. I'm just like, maybe we shouldn't do that today.
Yeah.
So, no, but I think it would be really good just to show you like, what happens when you know, you're trying to be a fun parent and sometimes it's exhausting.
No, I was baking the other day and Ellie, my youngest, wanted to help. And I was like, okay, but I don't have enough ingredients. I have probably just the exact amount.
Yeah.
I don't have enough for you to just go, woo!
Yep,
and,
no time for
and the flour goes everywhere. And I was like, okay. So I let her and she's very good.
Good.
But I'm like you. I'm like, I don't have the patience for it. I'm like, just let me do it. Let me do it. It's quicker. I can just get it done. You know, because I got to do 5,200 other things, and you know.
Yeah.
But then I just now I was like, I think that would be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'll just try and stand back and
I hope, like, I personally hope I don't come off as like I hate adulthood, I hate parenting, because like there are plenty of times where I dislike it. Like, and I was thinking the other day, I'm like, I'm supposed to be, I see some people and they're like, I love my kids. I love spending so much time with them. I love doing activities with them. I love doing adventures with them. And I'm just like, that's not my life. I'm like, I love my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I think everyone loves their kids, but I'm just like, I don't necessarily. And for me, it's also our ages, I think, sometimes, because with my other two, I have pictures and I have took them on so many different adventures or activities.
Yeah.
10 years later, and I'm just like, and he's also a different kid, right? So just talking about kids.
You ready for a nap?
No, I'm just like, it's starting to give me a little bit of anxiety. This was a different kid. Because I love him to death and he's such a sweet kid, but it sometimes takes a lot out of me. And I think when you're already depleted of energy, trying to do that as much as you want to, you just sometimes are like, I just don't have enough energy for that right now. You know, and you kind of have to figure out.
And it's, you know, it's like, so last night I was doing stuff. I was cooking. I was doing all this stuff. The girls were entertaining themselves. I fed them. I got them all ready. And then it was time for me to eat. And I'm like, you know, I just want 5 seconds of peace. And what happens? I sit down and they swarm me. And I'm like, you haven't bothered me this entire time. This entire time you had the chance to say, Mommy, could you please get me this? Or Mommy, I need this, whatever. Now it's like, Mommy, as soon as I lifted the fork, Mommy, I have to go potty. Mommy, I'd like a snack or whatever. I'm like, get it yourself. I need to eat. I haven't eaten all day. And then I'm like, if anybody ever was looking in, it would be like, oh gosh, you know, not knowing totally the dynamics in my household right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like,
that's like sometimes I'll see someone kind of look at me if I talk to my child or somebody in town. Yes. And I'm like, you have no clue that this child has just been hounding me for some toy that he does not need, that I cannot afford since like 8 o'clock this morning. Right? And you're in town and it's busy and you're just trying to get that one thing and then leave. And then, so you kind of get that look like, oh, like you shouldn't be talking to your kid like that, or you shouldn't. And I'm like, you have no idea.
No, my girls, okay, so my girls are pretty good. I am blessed. Bella, my uncle took her to Toys R Us before it closed
Mm-hmm.
one year in New York, and they were going for the long. I was like, what is he doing? Is he buying her? Like, I gotta get this stuff back to Bermuda. What is he doing? And he was like, I took her down. We took her down aisle after aisle after aisle. She just was looking, and you know, she wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I think she might have been overwhelmed, but it also could be her personality as well, which we'll get into. But she's very good. She's never been that child that has. Now, mind you, one time in the grocery store, you know, Marketplace has those carts.
Mm-hmm.
So
the little car ones.
So she was in it, and we were going to check out, and Chris was paying, and she was up. He had pushed her forward, and then all of a sudden, I see this hand putting. Oh, she had taken all the candy off of the thing, and she was just putting it back on the counter. You know? And I was like, oh. Like I didn't, but other than that, they're very good. I don't, you know, I have to admit. But there are times where I'm like, you'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be fine. Let's go. And like you say, people give you this look, and I'm
there's
like,
so many differences between like girls and boys, and for second and thirds, and because it's kind of funny because Sevi will send me like the little different reels that they do on TikTok or whatever it is. I don't keep up, but it'll say like the first child, how the first child will react to the situation, how the second child will react to it, and I'm like, these are my kids. Like it's so funny how different they can be.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing. It absolutely is amazing. And like you said, I love my kids too, but
and you love seeing them grow up, and you love seeing them do new adventures. But that all, you know, and I think also too, it also depends on how much help you have, right? Like your resources, the help that you have. And like for me, you know, as you may or may not know, I was living with my parents for my youngest two, but that has its own challenges, right? Living with your parents. And I was dealing with a divorce and being a single mom of two kids.
I never knew you were married.
So we can definitely talk about all that stuff. Yeah. And it was like I spent so much energy just trying to keep it through for the two of them, and they were young, right? So they were like, you know, when they're back to back, what happens? They share germs together. It's like, and then you're sick, and then you're depleted, and it's just nonstop until they get to that phase where their immune system is good and they're not getting sick constantly, and they can actually blow their nose themselves, and you know. So it's like, there's just so many different dynamics. It's crazy, but I'm really hoping everyone can enjoy something out of it. And I'm definitely looking forward to continuing doing it. So
join us on our little adventure of beautiful chaos, because we're two beautiful women
just a little chaos
living
sometimes.
A chaotic life.
Just a little chaos sometimes. Just a little.
It's all right. It'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Yeah, right, exactly. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You're fine. I'm fine. We're all fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. But you know, I tell my homeschool kids, I'm like, don't rush. Do not rush wanting to be an adult, because it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
Yeah, my daughter's going into university, and I'm like, I know as much as you want to leave home and spread your wings, but that comes with a lot of responsibilities. So just enjoy it. Enjoy the fact that you can say, Mommy, I want to go to this place and that place, and can you buy me this? Can you do that? Because, you know.
Well, I told my two, you're not allowed to ever leave me. So. And it was funny because they were in my room one night, and I was in the kitchen or whatever. I could hear them, and I could hear Bella. Ellie was saying something. I could hear Bella going, you're not allowed a boyfriend. Remember, Mommy told us we're never allowed to leave her. So I was like, yes, one child listened. But Ellie is all me, so she's, you know, going to give me a run for my money. I know it. So, you know, it's just going to be fun sharing. And again, like you said, I never knew you were married. And that's crazy. Living on this island where everybody knows everybody's business.
But let me just tell you, in that brief time, a whole lot of stuff happened. So it was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
First rodeo, gotta tell you. But I love the fact that we'll be able to get into that kind of stuff, right? Like just us and the the guests and just different topics. So I hope you guys stick around. I know we kind of threw a lot at you this first time.
Yeah, it
Well,
wasn't planned.
it was, and that's another thing too, right? Carrie and I will definitely have ideas, but a lot of it's not going to be planned, right? It's not going to be rehearsed. It's not going to be sit there and say a script.
Yeah.
We just want to be open with you guys. So we hope that you follow us, you subscribe to our channel. Please share this because we have so much planned for the future. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.